Racing Electronics here at PRI. Steve Post from Motor Racing Network. One of our buddies. We love our modified racing here at Racing Electronics and the Smart Modified Tour rolling along. Chris Williams is the director of the Smart Modified Tour. How many years have we been doing this now, Chris?
This is 4.
My gosh, 4 years, I'll tell you what. And you're still upright? You're still standing in one position?
Yeah, everybody hates me, but that's okay. That's what happens in racing.
No doubt about it. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. Yesterday, as we're doing this show, we're recording this on Thursday here at PRI, announced the 2025 schedule. What's the highlights? What's got you excited about it?
Everything. Returning to, our mainstays, with Hickory and Caraway and King of the Modifieds, of course. Pace-O-Matic, Dominion, and all those guys that sponsor that event. Looking forward to going back there in March. We added Lonesome Pine. We've been trying to add Lonesome Pine now for 3 years, and rain and snow and weather is kind of put a damper on it, but we're looking forward to going to that. We got the beach trip going for the Friday night New River, and then the next day at Carteret. Anderson is something we added. Everybody wanted to go to Anderson. It's in March. Maybe it's a little warmer, a little south. But once I've done it, I've had so many people talk about glad they come back to Anderson. And of course, everybody wants us to add more. And we've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of different tracks. And, we have to work through travel. We have to work through some other things. And, and again, as always, we also got to think about that Saturday between April and August for the Bowman Gray, and not to compete against that, because people's chasing legacies and different things of that nature, and we respect that. So, we've got a good schedule this year. We're looking to do some crazy stuff going forward. We've had some conversation with some tracks that people wouldn't believe that we would show up at. High Bank, I'll just leave it at that. And so we're not scared to add it. As long as the sponsors are willing to understand what it takes to travel and to build up the sport of modified racing, but to see what we consider the best racing there is, with ground pounding, 650 horsepower. Everybody says 600, but I think it's more when you're looking at the dyno. But we love modified racing, and all we try to do is exploit it. So we love it.
You had that King of the Modified event up at South Boston. Just talk about it's great to have the tour. It's great to do what you do, but having that marquee event, what did that mean to you guys, and now to be able to come back and do it again?
Well, as I said, we want to put on the best event there is. We follow our friends, up at the Spring Sizzler and what the Roots do and everybody else. And, I'm a student of history, and I like seeing how people do things and try to gravitate towards doing stuff a little bit better, a little bit different. But the King of the Modifieds is something that we wanted to do in the South, and it went extremely well. Last year it's going to be extremely well. We got some announcements coming up about that with sponsorship and different things, format. And we want a marquee. Back in the day, Martinsville was always that last week of March, and we kind of took that date because, number one, is you want to go a little south from up north. You also want to be in the South and start at your home track. And so we took that kind of history and applied it. It went extremely well. South Boston's a great host. The track is great. The facility's awesome. Nick and Brandon and all of them do a superb job of promoting it, and we're good partners with them, and we're continuing for a long and illustrious deal. And, adding Wilkesboro to our championship and stuff of that nature, it's pretty cool that we can end up at a place of that facility and put on the show that we did. Last year was 5, people contending. We won't get into that one. That's in the past, but it ended up being a very good show.
It was. It just really, truly was. That is for sure. And so much fun there on the tour. I want to go back to something you said, and it's finding that balance of race weekends, working with the stadium. The NASCAR Wheeling Tour comes south a couple of times. I can't imagine that's got to be a delicate balance you guys work to find.
To be honest with you, it's not. 38 years in NASCAR and representing NASCAR and the teams, and what I did at Action and so on. I earned a lot of that respect by my actions. What I say, I do. I don't tear anything down, and I've built NASCAR up for 38 to 40 years, and I'm not going to tear it down. And so I understand what the stadium means to the modified community. I grew up there kind of, in essence, Franklin County mostly, but you know what I'm saying and what they mean. And it's not a delicate, and I worked extremely well with the folks inside of NASCAR. I have a good relationship with Jimmy Wilson. We talk about how to enhance NASCAR and modified racing in general. And so, I'm a person that don't tear down history. I build it. So, and the one thing about building history is you have to be in it to create it. And so that's what we're trying to do, is create those moments.
All right, let's talk a little history. A rookie by the last name of Baldwin is your champ. Man, that lit you up. That lit me up. That is just so cool. Luke Baldwin, Tommy Baldwin, of course, Tiger Tom, the original Tom Baldwin up on Long Island. To have someone represent your division as the champion with that lineage is so amazing.
Well, you can't say enough about Luke. Let's be honest, you can't say enough about the Baldwins. Tom himself, I got to know him a little bit back in the day as a youngster. He was a tough individual. He was a competitor. He drove the wheels off of it, and he was going to give you more than he got. And I think Luke is kind of in that Baldwin mentality. I think it skipped a generation. Tommy does it in business. Luke does it in a race car. But they're a great family. And for him to advance the way he advanced from the beginning of the season, even winning the King of the Modifieds, and kind of throwing that out there with a great competition of friendship with Carson was even better. Carson is great. Carson's stepping up and moving over there to the Cars Tour. I commend that. I think it's a great step for him. I think that Barry's getting a kid from a family standpoint, that the Loftons, all the way from Bobby, to his dad, Brian, is a racing family, and they do it the right way. And I can't say enough about the youngsters that's put on a show in the Smart Modified Tour, and I think you're going to see a few more youngsters coming. I can't say right now, but I think the Smart Modified Tour's got a little growth coming. But it was great to see Luke expand, and he's that way. I mean, if you've seen some of our stuff on social media, that's the way he is all the time. He's busting. He has that Baldwin mentality, of a character, and it's great to see it come out. And now he's going to get Carson out of his shell a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and let him be more open. But that's a part of growth, and so it's fun to see Luke have that kind of season and be our champion.
It is. It really, truly is. Chris, we always appreciate the time. We appreciate the partnership with Racing Electronics, of course, and we just can't wait as you continue to grow the Modified Tour in the Southeast. So much fun to go to the races. We appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate it. We got some stuff coming. We're working on some new things and maybe a new event or two. Me and Bob was whispering some stuff. I won't get into those, but we're going to branch out a little bit. It's all about sponsor dollars, and it's the one thing out of the 12 checklist that I had. I've done 11 of the 12 in 3.5 years. Now it's time to get the rest of it. That's a little bit more money.
Oh boy, here we go. That is going to be great. You want to catch the Smart Tour, of course, you can check out their website. You can check them at the local racetrack, and Flow Racing is where they're at throughout the course of the season. Always good to catch up on my buddy Chris Williams here in the Racing Electronics display.